I'm Kim Ogg, Harris County District Attorney. Today, a grand jury indicted Andre Jackson for the murder of Jose Flores. New evidence, newly tested evidence, was presented by Assistant DAs Tiffany Dupree and Kathy Kale, who are here with me this morning, to the 338th grand jury who handed down the indictment. As I have said many times before, this office is evidence-based. We prosecute individuals based not on theories, not on conjecture, not on hearsay, but on evidence. When newly tested evidence became available through science in this case, we were able to make a case to the grand jury that Jackson is in fact the murderer of Jose Flores. While I'm prohibited from by law from discussing the specific proceedings of the grand jury, it is this newly tested scientific evidence, along with previously gathered additional evidence, that led to the indictment, and which I am willing to stand on with these prosecutors as evidence beyond a reasonable doubt of Andre Jackson's guilt. It's our duty as prosecutors to seek justice, not just to obtain convictions, and to seek that justice based on evidence that will withstand appeal and all tests. Because of the excellent investigative work done by homicide detectives in this case and by the lawyers who I am proud to say work for and with me, we now believe that we can bring justice to Jose's family. I want to thank everyone involved, the assistant DAs, the homicide division, the specific support of this mayor, for the crime victim's family, for City Councilwoman Carla Cisneros and her support during the last several years while the family waited for justice. Sometimes the passage of time helps a case. And in this situation, had we stepped forward before and had the evidence been insufficient either for a guilty verdict or to sustain a conviction on appeal, which is what we believed, then we would not now be able to pursue that same murderer because of double jeopardy. So while it is painful beyond belief for the families of crime victims to wait for justice, it is cases just like these that convince me sometimes time is the answer. I'd like to hand this off now to Mayor Sylvester Turner.
Let me start off by thanking the District Attorney Kim Ogg and the Harris County Assistant Prosecutors for just being relentless on this effort. So thank you, District Attorney. Certainly I want to acknowledge Chief Acevedo in his absence. Chief Fenners is here with us today in homicide. I want to also acknowledge Carla Cisneros, City Council person for District H, and she, Jose Flores family lives in her City Council district. I want to thank the members of the grand jury who listened and carefully weighed new physical evidence presented and this morning returned an indictment. To Police Chief Acevedo and HPD investigators, thank you for staying focused on Jose Flores. And for 3 years, HPD refused to give up. In fact, the community didn't give up, the family didn't give up, and neither did we. And today our community joins with Jose's family in viewing this indictment as an important step towards justice for Jose. 3 years ago, on May 17, 2017, 11-year-old Jose was walking home after school when he was brutally stabbed to death. It could have been anybody's child. The unimaginable brutal attack has made Jose's everyone's child. And last month, on the third year death of Jose, Chief Acevedo and myself and others stood with his mom, Maria Flores, and said a month ago that we would not stop until we were able to bring resolution to this case. Last Friday, I joined Chief Acevedo in a visit to Josue's family and talked with his mother, Maria, to let them know about the new developments in this case. We let Josue's family know that he has not been forgotten and that this entire city continues to pray and work so that his death would not be in vain. The sixth grader was a smart, loving, and respectful student, and I know his parents, brothers, and sisters miss him dearly. The community misses him dearly every day. We cannot bring back Josue, but we can seek justice in his memory and protect other children in our community. And so to the family, I want them to know that we will remain by your side every step of the way until this journey ends with justice for Josue. So thank you again to the DA's office. Thank you, Kim Ogg, for just being relentless on this matter. And I know your office will do everything humanly possible to bring justice for Josue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. Executive Assistant Chief Troy Fenner. On behalf of Chief Acevedo, who's out of town on city business, I want to report that today at 11:15 a.m., we arrested Mr. Jackson in Baytown. I will not go over to just give the specific street, but the fact is he's in custody. A little over 3 years ago, our little young soldier, and I want to refer to him as a soldier. We all love our kids, and if you don't have kids, everybody has a loved one that has kids. Was brutally murdered, and we told his family and that community, and I want to say this because I don't mix words, that Latino community, just understand that we never wavered. Chief Acevedo said over his dead body, okay, that we would give up on his case. And we stand here today with our mayor, with other city legals, our district attorney's office, the investigators from the DA's office. I want to thank our homicide investigators. We work together. And the main point today is he's in custody. Justice is justice, even if it's delayed. The worst thing anybody can do is a lot of questions that come out of cases sometimes. What about this? What about that? We want to get it right, get the evidence right, and get him in custody. And that's what happened today. And I'm just so proud of our teamwork. With the DA's office, the mayor, thank you, media. Thank you, community, for being patient. But most importantly, that beautiful family. Just about a year ago, Chief Acevedo, Matt Slinkard, and I went over and visited that family. The mayor told you they just visited them again about a month ago. When you look in the eyes of a mother who's lost a kid in such a violent act, it's just tough. The sisters and the brothers. But we told them, we made a promise. We would not waver. We would stand fast and get this person in custody. And that happened today. And I'm proud. I'm proud of our community. I'm proud of how we stand together in Houston. So we're moving forward with the justice. I will not go into a whole lot of questions about the investigation. You don't see any of our homicide investigators and our commander because they're out in Baytown right now. Okay? And I'll tell you this without going into tactics. We had him under surveillance for several days, 24/7. All right, so when that question comes up, we had him under surveillance, and we made the arrest today. So thank y'all for y'all support, and let's continue to move with justice. Let's respect the family, and keep loving them. Thank y'all.
I'd like to invite Ruben Perez. He is the Bureau Chief over Special Crimes in the DA's office, and he'll give the Spanish version.
Buenos días. Me llamo Rubén Pérez, soy fiscal del condado de Harris, soy el jefe del Special Crimes Bureau de la Fiscalía del condado de Harris. Yo trabajo por Kim Ogg, le quiero dar gracias a ella porque lo soportó, nos dio todo el apoyo cuando estamos trabajando en este caso. Le quiero dar las gracias también a las fiscales Tiffany Dupree y Kathy Kale, las muchachas que están para mi derecha, que trabajaron duro para traer justicia a la familia Jose Flores. Ahora en la mañana, este caso se presentó al gran jurado. El gran jurado le puso cargos a Andre Jackson por homicidio, por matar a Jose Flores. El rango de castigo es de 5 a 99 años o vida y una multa de $10,000. No queremos hablar mucho de la investigación porque todavía está este caso pendiendo en corte, pero le quiero dar gracias a todo el mundo, a la comunidad, a los policías del Houston Police Department, de la policía del departamento de Houston, al mayor Sylvester Turner, a la cónsul Cisneros. Como le digo, le quiero dar gracias a Kim Ogg, nuestro fiscal del condado de Harris, y al oficial Finner, el señor Bradford, CEO Bradford, que trabaja con nosotros. Todos trabajamos juntos con otros fiscales y otros policías y otros detectives del condado. Con la comunidad trabajamos todos juntos para ver que se hiciera la justicia a este pobre niño de 11 años que fue matado por decimos nosotros con evidencia, que Andre Jackson fue el que hizo este daño, esta muerte a este niño. Como les digo, muchas gracias a toda la comunidad. Ojalá que sigamos enfrentando este caso y vamos a trabajar bien duro con el favor de Dios, que se haga la justicia para Jose Flores, su familia, la comunidad y todo el estado de Texas. Muchas gracias por todo el apoyo que nos daba la comunidad en este caso. Gracias.
Questions?
Kim Ogg, the district attorney. Everybody in Houston has been watching this case for 3 years. What is the evidence that you have?
The evidence is newly tested DNA evidence. We don't try our cases here in the court of public opinion. We try them in the courts of law. So with that said, that is what's new in the case. But I'd like to remind everyone that evidence was gathered at the time. It simply wasn't sufficient then without the newly tested information to uphold a conviction either at the petit jury or at the appellate level. We did not believe it would withstand appeal. Had we moved forward, jeopardy would have attached. We would never have been able to try Jackson again. That was a risk that we determined was not worth it. So, as painful as it is for families, and I cannot imagine the burden that the Flores family has carried around, but I know that our officials have been there by their side. I know that our prosecutors have worked with the family. I just want to thank them for their patience and for their faith in this system. It's based on evidence, not opinion. You know, murder's not entertainment. It's for real. And it's important to Josue that we stick to our burden of proof. That's what we did. We see that a grand jury this morning believed that evidence, believed it showed probable cause, and I have complete confidence in our lawyers that they can bring that case in front of a jury, that we can obtain a guilty verdict and sustain it on appeal. That's our job, to see that justice is done.
Was it testing on the jacket that had been tested previously?
I really don't want to talk about the exact nature of the evidence, what it is. That'll all be aired out in court, probably to the nth degree, but we'll fight that battle in court. We're prepared to do so.
Can you clarify where the DNA was tested? Was it in Houston?
It was not. It was not. It was tested by a lab that had superior capabilities to the first lab that tested it several years ago.
Was that here in Texas or Utah?
No, it was not. It was not in either Texas or Utah. It was in Florida.
Okay, because the police chief had said they sent off DNA to Utah back in May.
That's incorrect.
Is that not right?
That's not correct. Utah, yeah. And look, just want to say this: it's not important and where we sent it off to. It's a superior lab, and we don't want to do or say anything that's going to jeopardize this investigation and ultimately the conviction. A lot of times we're putting all the energy on the front end. You know where the focus should be? On the back end. I just ask you to put yourself in that mother's position. 3 years waiting for justice. Nobody's going to rush and nobody's going to say anything that's going to jeopardize that, because the ultimate justice is when he's locked up in prison, okay? And that's what I want us to focus on today.
So
The
why
chief,
did it
even
take
after the
so
charges were
long to
dismissed, he
send
never
it?
dropped off the suspect list. did he?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
Even after the charges were originally dismissed against Jackson, he never dropped off the suspect.
No, he never dropped off as a suspect. Good question. He always was a suspect, a person of interest. Yes, sir.
Does HPD have any idea after 3 years why he would have done this? I mean, this death rocked the community.
No, we don't have a motive, and who could think up? Why would you kill an innocent little boy? Innocent little boy walking from school. I've seen that tape many times, and it stays with me. We see a lot of things as police officers, and almost 30 years for me, that stayed with me. And who knows? But I'm not so concerned about it right now. I just want justice to be served.
And why did it take so long to send the evidence to Florida?
We're not going to discuss that right now.
When it comes to the family's reaction, were they aware that you guys were getting close to making an arrest, or were they notified at 11:15 this morning?
Go ahead.
Let me just say, even last week, Chief Acevedo and myself visited with the mother, Maria Flores, on last week, and we let her know that there were developments that were taking place in this case, and that we were hopeful that a grand jury would come back with an indictment. We wanted to reassure them that even though it's been 3+ years, that Jose has not been forgotten and the family has not been forgotten, that we wanted to be persistent. And as a team, I think it was very important for all of us to be very, very careful that we not prematurely act and then miss the mark. And so it worked collectively as a group. I can't say enough for the DA's office and the assistant prosecutors, and I can't say enough for the homicide detectives and HPD, but it's been very methodical, very careful, very deliberative. But at this moment, what is important is justice for Josue.
What was the decision to do this new testing at a different lab? I mean, how did that come about?
Our cold case unit found out about new technology, at which time they sent it over to the lab to be tested. And let me say this, and I forgot, thanks to our FBI partners for ponying up and putting the money up for the test. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Cold case did what it should do. Look at evidence and see any new technology or whatnot, whatever we can do to bring justice. And that's what happened here.
You mentioned he was arrested in Baytown. What's his connection to Baytown? Did he resist arrest in any way?
Either he's living there or the relative lived there, but we'll get that out to you guys a little bit later. But we did put him in custody in Baytown.
Then why are detectives still there now?
Well, whenever there's arrests, especially some of this magnitude, we want to make sure that we're processing scenes and whatnot. I know he was arrested on a traffic stop. I got word of that when I was en route over here, so I hadn't even had a chance to be debriefed. And we'll get more information out. Anything that we can that won't jeopardize the case or have the possibility of jeopardize
How were
the
you
case.
guys able to keep the community safe with this guy being out there for 3 years?
He's always been a suspect. He's always been a suspect, and we're not going to come out and tell the community that we have eyes on people, because suspects look at the news as well. So you better believe, if we believe that somebody is dangerous and they're a suspect and killing that young little soldier, we're going to keep eyes on it. Okay? Few more questions and we're going to call. Go ahead.
Seguro.
Sobre esto mismo, ¿nos puede decir por qué si ya se le había arrestado a André Jackson, se le deja en libertad y ahora se le pueden poner cargos ya? ¿Qué fue la pieza clave que ayudó a ponerle cargos?
Pues la evidencia que fue examinada, como le dijo en Florida, esa evidencia nos ocurrió, mandamos la evidencia para Florida y el laboratorio de allá nos dijo que el DNA era del niño. Y eso fue lo que presentamos ahora en la mañana, algo diferente, algo nuevo para seguir estos cargos.
Pero siempre se le consideró a André Jackson sospechoso.
Todo el tiempo fue una persona de interés para nosotros.
When will he be in court?
Mr. Jackson will be arraigned tomorrow morning, presumably 9 a.m. And I told you the court, 3:39? Although he was indicted by a different court's grand jury, his case will track back to the original court where it fell, and that's the 263rd District Court of Harris County. We look forward to seeing you there.
Chief,
Thank you all.
One last
Yes.
question. What was Jackson doing on the street that day? I mean, this was 3 years ago. Have you learned any more about why he was even there, why he was in that neighborhood?
No, and we're not going to discuss it today. But there's evidence that he was there, and further evidence that led to the arrest, which we're not going to discuss today. All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you, everyone.